is from the book Abstract Writings. Every attempt in my life succeeded. Never were I aimed a prose poetry novel by Dr. Everest John. The book consists of 20 short chapters, and it will be presented on this YouTube channel as a series of 5 videos of 4 chapters each exploring a fragment of life's unexpected journeys, misdirections, and quiet revelations. This is the second video in this series from chapter 5 to 8. We invite you to listen, reflect, and walk with us through these abstract moments of thought and experience. Thank you for your time, and for your listening interest. Chapter 5, I tried to fly. After water, I wanted air. Because water taught me struggle, and I thought air would teach me freedom. I told myself, this time, I will rise. This time, I will escape currents. This time, I will not drown. So I started flying. Not with wings. With dreams. Flying is not always in the sky. Sometimes it is a decision to leave sadness behind. At first, everything was beautiful. The wind felt like a friend. Clouds looked like soft doors to heaven. The sun smiled, and I smiled back. I thought, look at me. I have finally succeeded. But then the air changed. The higher I went, the thinner comfort became. The sky became colder. The world below became smaller. And suddenly I felt it. Trembling in my bones. Not because of wind, because of height. I had always feared falling, but I never knew I feared rising too. That is a strange human weakness. We pray for high places, and when God lifts us, we panic. My heart began to run even though my body was still. I looked down. And down was not down. Down was the voice of death whispering. One mistake, and you will disappear. So my flying, which began as joy, became a test. Because success does not only need strength. Success needs nerves. Chapter 6, Himalaya, where breathing becomes prayer. I ended up at Himalaya. I did not aim for it. I wanted a smooth flight, a soft landing, a simple victory. But life does not deliver parcels. It delivers lessons. Himalaya stood before me like a wall of silence. A mountain so tall even the sky looked respectful. The air was sharp. The cold was honest. The height was cruel. And my fear was awake. My knees shook. Not because the mountain attacked me, but because it exposed me. Mountains don't fight you. They reveal you. I stood there, a man who flew and reached the summit of his own weakness. My high phobia became a living creature. It climbed into my chest and sat there like a king. And I realized. There are 2 kinds of mountains, one outside you, one inside you. The outside mountain is snow and rock. The inside mountain is fear. Many people conquer the first. Few conquer the second. I looked up. The peak was white like purity. The sky was blue like eternity. And something inside me whispered, you came here to learn one thing. So I did the only thing a trembling man can do. I breathed. One breath. Then another. In the Himalaya, breathing is not normal. Breathing becomes prayer. Not because you want to be holy, but because you want to be alive. And in that thin air I understood. Sometimes God takes you to heights not to show you the world, but to show you yourself. Chapter 7, The Day I Discovered Height Phobia. I always thought fear was a weak man's disease. I thought brave people do not tremble. I thought strong people do not doubt. I thought faith is a shield that never shakes. But Himalaya corrected my theology. Because fear is not always cowardice, sometimes fear is simply the body reminding the soul, you are not God. That day, standing above the clouds, I discovered a secret about myself. I was not afraid of height. I was afraid of the space between certainty and collapse. I was afraid of the invisible line where confidence turns into regret. It is strange. I wanted to rise all my life, but when I rose, my heart began to beg for the ground. My hands became cold. My throat became dry. My eyes began to search for something stable. I looked for rails. I looked for walls. I looked for any proof that falling is not easy. But the mountain had no mercy for comfort. The mountain was honest. It said nothing. It explained nothing. It only stood. And I realized, some fears are not enemies. They are alarms. They warn you not to become proud. This phobia was not just fear of falling. It was fear of being exposed. Because height removes every lie you tell yourself. I can handle anything. I am always ready. I am strong enough. No. At height, you discover your true size. And my true size was trembling. So I whispered, not loudly, not as a preacher, but as a human being. God, hold me. And the most surprising thing happened. The fear did not disappear. But I did not disappear either. That became my first miracle at the Himalaya. Fear stayed, and I stayed standing. Chapter 8, The Fall That Never Happened. I expected fall. Because when you fear something deeply, you begin to live inside that fear. You rehearse disaster. Your mind becomes a cinema of failure. And my mind, that day, was a theater full of tragic scenes. I imagined slipping. I imagined losing balance. I imagined my name becoming a headline. He fell. But the fall did not come. Not because the mountain was soft. Not because the ground was kind. The fall did not come because God sometimes defeats fear not by removing the danger, but by removing the panic. I sat down. I did something humiliating. I sat on the cold stone like a child who has lost his mother in a crowd. And I breathed again. Breathing is simple. But on that mountain, it was worship. One breath said, I am alive. Second breath said, I am not finished. Third breath said, I can still choose courage. I learned something powerful. Most falls happen in the mind before they ever happen in life. Some people fall without moving. They fall in imagination. They fall worried. They fall in what if. But I stayed. And because I stayed, the Himalaya gave me something rare. Not victory. No applause. But inner quiet. The kind of quiet that grows only when fear has screamed and you refuse to surrender. That day I discovered. Courage is not flying higher. Courage is standing still when your soul wants to run. Thank you very much for listening to second video. I hope to join with you with next video very soon.